In today's world, most people struggle to sit still for even a few minutes. Our minds jump from one notification to the next, our days are filled with endless noise, and our attention is constantly under attack. We live in an age of distraction, instant gratification, and emotional burnout. Yet there are men and women who live with a discipline so unshakable that not even time itself can weaken it. These are the monks, people who have trained their minds to be stronger than their moods, their focus sharper than the distractions around them, and their purpose greater than any temptation. Their discipline is not about strict rules or isolation. It is about freedom, the freedom to live with clarity, peace, and power, no matter what the world throws at them. And the truth is, this discipline is not only for monks in temples, it is for you, living in the chaos of modern life. If you've ever felt overwhelmed, restless, or controlled by the world around you, then what you're about to discover can completely reshape the way you see discipline, success, and peace of mind. We are living in the noisiest age humanity has ever known. Every moment, our phones buzz, screens light up, and information competes for our attention. Social media feeds never end. Notifications demand instant responses, and the pressure to multitask has become the new normal. But monks show us that real power lies in the ability to protect focus. They treat their mind like a sacred fortress, carefully deciding what enters and what stays out, because they understand that whatever captures your attention controls your life. In the modern world, distraction is more dangerous than failure, because it quietly steals your time, your energy, and your potential without you even noticing. Imagine how different your life could be if you guarded your focus with the same discipline. If instead of scattering your energy across endless scrolling, you directed it toward what truly matters. Your relationships would grow deeper, your work would become more meaningful, and your inner peace would no longer be disturbed by every ping or vibration. Focus is no longer just an advantage. It has become the ultimate superpower of our time. And like the monks, you must learn to protect it, because once focus is lost, no amount of effort can bring back the moments wasted. We live in a world that worships instant gratification. Everything is designed to give us what we want right now. Fast food at the tap of an app, entertainment on demand, endless scrolling that keeps us hooked, and shopping that delivers to our door within hours. The problem is, the more we feed this hunger for instant rewards, the weaker our discipline becomes. Monks show us another way. They understand that constantly chasing quick pleasure makes the mind restless and fragile, while learning to wait builds inner strength that time cannot break. By delaying gratification, they train themselves to rise above impulses, to master desire instead of being enslaved by it. This is not about denying joy. It is about choosing a deeper joy over shallow comfort. In your own life, think about how much stronger you would be if you resisted every small temptation to scroll, to procrastinate, or to indulge in what doesn't serve your future. Each time you say not now to a fleeting urge, you are saying yes to long-term growth, yes to clarity, and yes to becoming unshakable. Real power doesn't come from what you get immediately. It comes from the patience to wait, to endure, and to build a life that cheap pleasures can never offer. In today's world, gyms are full of people sculpting their bodies, but few are training the part of themselves that truly controls their lives, the mind. We celebrate physical strength, yet silently suffer from weak thinking, restless thoughts, and constant overthinking. Anxiety, stress, and self-doubt are not signs of a broken world. They are symptoms of an untrained mind. Monks remind us that true discipline begins within. Through meditation, mindfulness, and reflection, they sharpen their awareness and build mental strength the way others build muscles. A strong body may carry you for a few decades, but a strong mind carries you for a lifetime. Consider this. How many opportunities are lost because fear held you back? How many relationships are damaged because anger controlled your response? How much potential is wasted because distraction ruled your days? When you train your body, you may impress others, but when you train your mind, you transform yourself. And unlike physical strength, which fades with time, mental discipline only grows stronger. The battles of life are not won with biceps. They are won with clarity, resilience, and mastery of thought. That is why monks dedicate themselves to mental training above all, because they know the greatest prison is an undisciplined mind, and the greatest freedom is one that has been trained to obey. We live in a world that thrives on stimulation. From the moment we wake up, our senses are bombarded. Alarms ring, messages flood in, screens light up, and before our feet even touch the ground, our minds are already racing. Everywhere we go, we are surrounded by noise. Televisions running in the background, advertisements screaming for attention, conversations layered on top of music and traffic. And when there is silence, most people cannot bear it. They instantly reach for their phone, scroll through feeds, or turn on some noise to avoid the discomfort of being alone with their thoughts. This constant stimulation has rewired our brains to expect chaos, leaving us restless, anxious, and unable to sit still without craving another hit of entertainment. Monks, however, choose a different path. They embrace stillness, not as emptiness, but as nourishment for the soul. To them, stillness is where the mind resets, where clarity begins, and where strength is forged. In stillness, they hear the whispers of wisdom that get drowned out by the world's noise. They are not running from silence. They are running toward it because they know it is in silence that the deepest truths are revealed. Modern life teaches us to constantly consume, but monks teach us to simply be, to sit in the present moment without needing to be entertained, without rushing to escape, without filling every second with something productive. Think about this. How many mistakes have been made in haste, simply because there was no pause? How many people live in constant stress because they never give themselves a single moment to breathe, reflect, and reset? Stillness is not weakness, it is power. It is the ability to slow down in a world addicted to speed, to think clearly in a culture of noise, and to find peace in a society that thrives on chaos. If you want true discipline, you must learn to create space for stillness, whether through meditation, a quiet walk, or simply putting your phone away and sitting in silence. Because stimulation will always chase you, but stillness you must choose. And once you taste it, you'll discover that in silence you don't lose anything. You gain everything. We live in an age where stimulation has become the new oxygen. From the moment we wake up, our minds are flooded. Bright screens light up our faces before the sun does. Notifications drag us into conversations we didn't ask for. And the endless scroll of information promises to keep us busy, but never fulfilled. The average person cannot walk for 5 minutes without pulling out their phone, cannot sit in silence without feeling anxious, cannot even eat a meal without needing a screen to fill the empty space. This constant stimulation is not harmless. It rewires the brain to become addicted to chaos, to seek distraction in every spare moment, and to mistake busyness for progress. And yet, beneath all this noise, there is a quiet truth. The more we feed this hunger for stimulation, the more restless and weak we become, because the mind loses its ability to stand still, to reflect, to choose calmly, and to live with clarity. Monks, however, have understood something most people today have forgotten. Stillness is not emptiness, it is power. Stillness is the ground where the roots of wisdom grow, where clarity sharpens, and where peace takes form. By stepping away from endless stimulation, monks discover a deeper layer of life that constant noise can never reveal. In stillness, the mind begins to slow down, and when it slows down, it begins to see. It sees the truth about desire, the truth about suffering, the truth about what really matters. Stillness is not about running away from the world. It is about seeing the world more clearly, because without silence, the wisdom of life is drowned out by the constant shouting of distractions. This is why monks dedicate hours of each day to meditation and silence, why they value quiet rituals and simple living, because they know that true strength is not found in consuming more stimulation, but in choosing less of it, in mastering the ability to sit with themselves, and in finding peace that does not depend on the world being noisy or calm. Think about your own life for a moment. How many decisions have been made in haste simply because there was no pause, no moment of stillness to think clearly before acting? How often has stress built up inside you, not because of the weight of life itself, but because you never gave yourself a chance to rest and breathe without stimulation pushing you forward? How many relationships feel shallow because time together is interrupted by screens, because silence between people feels uncomfortable, because every quiet moment is quickly filled with some distraction? This constant chase for stimulation robs us of depth, of meaning, of connection. Stillness, on the other hand, restores it all. It gives us the strength to pause before reacting in anger, the clarity to make wise decisions, and the awareness to experience life fully in the present moment instead of letting it pass us by unnoticed. But here is the truth. Choosing stillness in today's world is one of the hardest disciplines to practice, because the world is built to keep you distracted. Every app, every ad, every piece of content is designed to pull you in, to keep you restless, and to ensure you are always consuming but never truly reflecting. Discipline means resisting this pull, setting boundaries with noise, and creating sacred spaces in your day where you allow your mind to breathe. It may be as simple as sitting in silence for 10 minutes without your phone, taking a walk in nature with no distractions, or eating a meal mindfully without a screen. These small acts of stillness may seem insignificant, but they are powerful rebellions against a world that profits from your distraction. The discipline of stillness is not about isolating yourself or giving up the modern world. It is about taking control of your inner world. Because if you cannot sit quietly with yourself, you will always be a prisoner to stimulation. But if you can embrace stillness, you will discover a strength that no noise can shake. In stillness, you are not empty. You are full of clarity, full of peace, full of power that the outside world cannot give you and cannot take away. This is why stillness is the highest form of discipline, because when you master it, you no longer live at the mercy of noise. You live from the unshakable center of your own being. In today's world, success is often measured by what we can show others: the car we drive, the job title we carry, the money in our account, or the image we display online. We live in an age where everyone is chasing external achievements, polishing their resumes, curating their profiles, and building an identity based on what looks impressive. But monks remind us of something most people overlook. The truest form of success is not how much you can control outside of you, but how much you can master within you. Because what good is wealth if you are enslaved by anger? What good is status if you cannot control your jealousy? What good is recognition if your mood collapses with every criticism? Without emotional discipline, all external victories are fragile. You may rise high in the eyes of the world, but inside you remain restless, reactive, and easily broken by life's storms. Emotional discipline means training yourself not to be a prisoner of your impulses. It is the art of responding, not reacting. In the modern world, where opinions fly at the speed of light, where one negative comment can ruin a person's entire day, emotional discipline becomes the rarest strength. Imagine two people faced with the same insult. One explodes, lashes out, and loses control, while the other remains calm, steady, and unshaken. Who is truly stronger? The one who conquered his inner storm. And this strength is not built overnight. Just as monks sit in meditation to watch their emotions rise and fall without judgment, you too can train yourself to observe your anger without feeding it, to notice your fear without being swallowed by it, and to hold your ground when the world around you tries to provoke chaos inside you. Modern life constantly tests this inner mastery. The workplace tests your patience. Relationships test your compassion. Social media tests your self-worth. Traffic tests your calm. Every day, countless situations arise that try to pull you out of balance, and most people fail because they never built the muscle of emotional discipline. They confuse freedom with doing whatever they feel, but true freedom is having power over what you feel. It is the ability to choose peace when anger tempts you, to choose dignity when disrespect provokes you, to choose silence when noise surrounds you. Without this strength, the world controls you. With it, nothing outside of you can dictate your inner state. Think about it. Wars, conflicts, broken homes, destroyed friendships. So much of human suffering comes not from external scarcity, but from internal weakness. Anger left unchecked becomes violence. Jealousy left unchecked becomes hatred. Fear left unchecked becomes paralysis. A person who cannot master their emotions is like a ship with no anchor, tossed around by every wave, drifting wherever the storm takes them. But a disciplined mind is like a lighthouse. It stands firm, no matter how violent the storm, guiding not just itself but also others lost at sea. This is why monks appear so unshakable. It is not because life never tests them, but because they have mastered the art of not being ruled by their emotions. In the world we live in, where stress and anxiety have become epidemics, where people feel burned out and broken inside even when everything looks fine outside, emotional discipline is the greatest wealth. It allows you to remain calm under pressure, to forgive instead of holding grudges, to keep moving forward instead of drowning in self-pity. It is what turns pain into growth, rejection into redirection, and loss into wisdom. The truth is, anyone can build external success if they work hard enough, but very few build the internal success of mastering themselves, and yet that is the only success that time can never take away. A job may be lost, money may vanish, people may leave, but the strength you build within yourself will remain yours forever. So as you walk through this noisy, fast, and unpredictable world, remember this: external success may impress others, but emotional discipline protects you from being broken by life. Train yourself every day to pause before reacting, to breathe before speaking, to choose clarity over chaos, and peace over pride. This is not weakness. It is the highest form of strength. And once you master it, you will realize that the greatest victory is not conquering the world outside, but conquering the world within. The greatest danger of our time is not poverty or war, but the quiet erosion of principles. We live in an era where trends shape people more than values, where popularity matters more than integrity, and where individuals bend and twist themselves to fit into whatever the crowd is celebrating at the moment. Every day, new voices shout, "Do this, buy this, live like this." The digital world pushes endless waves of trends that change faster than the seasons, and millions follow without question, losing their own identity in the process. Yet monks remind us of an eternal truth. A life built on trends will collapse with the trends, but a life built on principles stands unshaken through time. Principles are the compass that guide you when the world pulls you in 100 directions. They are not dictated by fashion, money, or convenience. They are rooted in wisdom, clarity, and truth. A monk does not ask, "What is everyone else doing?" but instead asks, "What is right according to the principles I live by?" This is why their discipline endures, even when everything around them changes. Where most people drift with the wind of public opinion, monks remain anchored because their choices are not dictated by what's easy, but by what's timeless. In today's world, the lack of principles has created a silent crisis. People betray their values for a paycheck, compromise their integrity for likes, and sacrifice their peace just to appear successful in the eyes of strangers. But the cost of living without principles is heavy. You may gain the world, yet lose yourself. You may impress everyone, yet despise the person you see in the mirror. Without principles, life becomes a game of endless masks, where you shift your face depending on who is watching, and no matter how many masks you wear, eventually they all slip, and what remains is emptiness. Living by principles, on the other hand, means you know who you are and what you stand for, even when no one is watching. It means choosing honesty even when lying would benefit you. It means choosing respect even when someone disrespects you. It means choosing patience when anger tempts you, and humility when pride whispers in your ear. Principles are not about perfection, but about consistency. They are the rules you refuse to break, the lines you refuse to cross, and the truths you refuse to abandon, even when it costs you. And ironically, while it may seem harder at first, living with principles creates the deepest freedom. Because when you are guided by timeless truths, you no longer waste energy chasing the shifting approval of others. Think of it this way: trends will always expire, but principles never age. The clothes you wear today will be outdated tomorrow, but honesty will never go out of style. The technology you use will soon be replaced, but kindness will always remain relevant. The social media platforms people fight for today will vanish one day, but compassion will never lose its power. Monks remind us that while the world is obsessed with speed, novelty, and trends, wisdom lies in anchoring yourself to principles that time cannot touch. And here lies the true strength of discipline. When your life is rooted in principles, you cannot be easily broken by circumstances. Success doesn't make you arrogant. Failure doesn't make you bitter. Criticism doesn't destroy you, and praise doesn't blind you. You become steady in a world that is unstable, strong in a world that is fragile, and free in a world that is enslaved by opinions. Living with principles means you are not at the mercy of the crowd, the market, or the noise. You walk your path with clarity, even if you walk it alone. So ask yourself, what principles guide your life? Do you stand for truth, kindness, humility, and perseverance? Or do you bend every time the wind changes direction? Because when time tests you, and it always will not be your trends that save you, but your principles. Monks live by this wisdom every day, showing us that true discipline is not about suppressing yourself, but about aligning yourself with values so strong that no temptation, no distraction, and no storm can shake you from them. That is the discipline time cannot break. As we end this journey, take a moment to reflect. In a world that never stops moving, filled with distractions and fleeting trends, the way of the monk shows us that true discipline is not control for its own sake. It is freedom. It is protecting your focus, choosing growth over comfort, mastering your emotions, and living by principles that time cannot touch. Everything outside of you will fade, possessions, achievements, even people. But the character you build, the discipline you forge, and the wisdom you live by remain. Monks seem unshakable because they invest in what lasts, and you can too. You don't need a monastery or robes, just the choice every day to live with intention, focus, stillness, and integrity. Ask yourself, will your life be tossed by every opinion, temptation, and storm, or will it stand steady, grounded, and unbreakable? This path begins with small daily choices, guarding your attention, taming your emotions, creating stillness, and standing by your values. These choices may seem small, but over time they build a life that no challenge can destroy. Step back into your world carrying these lessons. Let them guide you, strengthen you, and anchor you. Because if you live with discipline, you will gain what the world cannot give and time cannot take: a mind at peace, a heart unshaken, and a spirit no storm can break.